This is what I call God's country. Well, we made it to the top, and holy cow, this is the top of the world, man. Probably 3/4 of the way up now. This is some steep country. I'll tell you that for free. Welcome back, people, to Outlaw Country. And this right here is some outlaw kick-ass country. I don't know if the video does it any justice or not, but it gives new meaning to the word steep and rugged. Anyhow, I'm here by choice. Nobody forced me, right? So this is where these big mule deer, black-tailed deer hang out, is in this kind of shit. And if you want to find them, this is what you got to do to find them. This is how they get big and old. So I wanted to share this little spot with you guys because this is a pretty cool draw that I'm in. This draw goes in here for about 10 miles, and it's rugged the entire 10 miles. So from my truck it's kind of a few rolling ridges of big timber, not bad walking, and it's like that for maybe a couple of miles, and then you get into this draw, this creek draw. And from that point it's another 10 miles up this, at least 10 miles to the lake. And it's a pretty nice lake. It's a big lake. And I'm on the south side of the lake. This comes out on the south side of the lake. I don't know if I'm going to get that far in or not today because it's a hard hike. So we'll just see how it goes. See how far we can get. But we're going to go a ways anyways. I hope you're all doing well. Going to get in here and at some point take a break, like I always do, sit down and hammer out a couple more emails for you people. And there's still been a lot of conversation about the video from what was it now, 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago now, this two Fridays ago, week and a half. Well, it'll be two weeks from now. The video where I had the hooting and hollering going on behind me. A lot of comments, a lot of emails, a lot of people reaching out, and I try to respond to everybody. Had a couple good conversations with a couple of what I consider friends now that have subscribed to the channel, and that have had quite a few run-ins with these beings. Had a couple conversations. Anyhow, yeah, I'm still picking apart that video because I rewatched it many times, and there's quite a bit going on there. You know, the loud branch break at whatever minute mark it was. I'll see if I can find that because I forgot to put it up on my last week's video. I said I would try to find where that branch got broke that one of you subscribers pointed out to me. It's clearly a big branch. I don't know how I didn't hear it. And then all the commotion afterwards. But anyhow, it is what it is. It is what it is. Nice to get away for a few days of the kind of last stab in the hunting season, last stab of the hunting season for me. And as I mentioned, I don't really need the meat. I could use it, right? I'll be fine if I don't get a deer, and I'm not gonna shoot a deer unless it's a big mature buck, because I'm okay for meat. And what a lot of people don't realize is these big deer, these big old mature bucks like I'm hunting here, you know, they're on their last year or two, okay, and it takes a lot to survive a winter out here. And these big old deer and elk and stuff like that, their years are numbered, right? You know, a 10-year-old deer is a pretty old deer, 12-year-old deer, and then you get into 12 or 14-year-old elk, that's an old elk. And life out here for them is nothing like us like us with our lives at home. This is tough. It's tough out here in the winter. So anyhow, probably my chances of getting a big old huge mature buck out of here is probably about 15-20%. So the odds are in their favor. because this is their home and they're good at this kind of shit and I'm not. This is not my, I wish this was my home. Don't get me wrong, but anyhow, when you're hunting these big old smart deer, it's not easy. So anyhow, I hope you're all doing well, and let's get to the top of the hill here, find a place to sit down, take a rest, and we'll get a few more emails read out for you. All right. Whew. Just got a whiff of something. I hope that ain't me. Could be a bear or something, I guess. Wolves. I don't know, whatever it is, it stinks. Dear God, I hope that's not me. So, I'm almost at the top of this ridge, and just a couple minutes ago, got a whiff of a horrible smell, and then I see this. Check that out. I don't know, people. I have no idea what in God's name that is. It's some kind of a structure. I gotta get over this log. Hang on. Alright, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I don't know what to make of that. Most of those logs are broken, not cut. There's no trail around here anywhere. I'm about 300 yards off the creek bank, and about 100 yards, 100 to 200 yards from the top of the ridge. And there's no sign of any kind of a trail from people in here. So I don't know what the hell built that. But what I do know is I'm just going to move along. Remember when I said to you guys that your gut will sometimes tell you things and you better listen to your damn gut? Well, that's what I'm doing. I don't know why, but my gut is saying, my gut is just saying, don't stop here. That's what it's saying. My gut is saying, don't stop here, so I'm not going to stop here. I mean, in a way, that kind of looks like a hunting blind or stand, but nowadays, most hunters nowadays carry stands with them, like manufactured tree stands. Not very often do hunters build them. And what a place to build one. Whatever, I don't know. I'm not I'm not assuming anything, or I'm not suggesting anything. That's just, to me, that's super weird. Super weird. I've been up here before and I've never seen that. I haven't been right to probably this exact spot, but I've been on this ridge and I've never seen that thing before. That structure, it's old. Anyways, pretty odd. But as I said to you guys, when your gut tells you something, listen to your gut. It's never wrong. So I'm gonna mosey along, work my way up the draw here, and then I'll take a break, because I wasn't about to sit and read emails from that spot. Not a damn chance. We'll find somewhere a little more inviting than that. Oh. Holy. Well, good thing there's not something after me. I would have been dead. Not often does my gun get caught up on anything, but it did. Man, that is a hike, let me tell you. That is a hike. I take a break. You guys feel like taking a break with me? Let's take a break. Time for a break. I'm probably a mile and a half now away from that structure that I found. That was frickin' wild, man. Really wild. I know for a fact that I have, you wouldn't believe some of the shit I find down my back, down my drawers, sticks and critters, and anyhow. I know I have some loggers that are subscribers, and if any of you guys like Eric Nelson, Eric's a logger. Eric, if you or any of you other loggers out there know what a structure like that would be for some logging purpose, let me know. So I hope the video is okay of it, but in a way, I didn't stick around too long because I didn't feel super welcome. Like, I just didn't feel, I'm like, this is weird. I'm getting the fuck out of here. It kind of looked like you loggers that have ever done any heli logging, you know, when sometimes they'll find an opening, a big opening, and they'll build their helipad to drop the fallers off and the timber cruisers off on. It kind of looked like that, but it's in the thick timber. There's no way in hell that they are bringing a helicopter in here. So it looked like that, but it wasn't that. I suppose it could have been some kind of a tree stand or something, but why would you build something so big? Like that thing, God, something stinks here. It's not me. I keep getting a whiff like I got earlier on. It's awful. Anyhow, I just wanted do a video where nothing happens. Like, I really do. No bullshit. Anyhow, where was I? Those logs were big. That platform was like probably 10 by 10 at least. Square. Why would somebody build a frickin' tree stand that big? And why would you need a tree stand at all? Just sit here like I am. So, to me, that's pretty odd. To me, it's very odd. And when I see odd shit that I can't really explain, that's when my gut goes, dude, get out of there. Get out of here. Leave. So that's what I did. Anyways, I know this area that I'm in, I was telling you guys before I left, this area that I'm in is like in British Columbia. This is probably there's probably been more sightings and encounters with the forest people in this geographical area of maybe a few hundred square miles than anywhere in the province. It's unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. So maybe 10 miles from here, two valleys down the main lake, two valleys down from here, back in 1990. So what's 1990, 30 some odd, I'm not very good at math, 35 years ago or something like that, is where I had the life scared out of me. And where I first had an introduction to these forest beings. And so many people have had so many experiences up here. Tons of the native communities, First Nations communities up here, tons of them have had run-ins with forest people here. Yeah, Steve Isdall, how to hunt. He has had experiences up here, not right here, but like not far in this geographical area, right? Randy Brisen. Randy has a YouTube channel. I don't know what it is, but Randy's had tons and tons of encounters in this area. So it just goes on and on and on. It's crazy. And I don't know what it is about this area, but they're in here big time. But so are the big deer. So are the big deer. The big deer live right in here too. Huge deer. And I've been coming here for 35 years. So actually, that's a lie. You know what? I've been coming here for 40 years. Actually, probably a little bit more than that. I think I was 14 years old 13 or 14 years old when I first came in here. So, 41, 42 years ago. And I've hunted this area every year except for maybe 3 or 4 years when I couldn't come up because I was sick. But I've hunted this area every single year for over 40 years. I have. And I told Mrs. Outlaw, it's right in my will, that I want some of my ashes spread in this valley. Because it's so special to me. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. You ever just go to a place that feels so special? This is that area for me. Hurt my neck. Another twig down my back. I'm going to get a couple emails read out for you here, and then we'll maybe have a bullshit after that, because you know what some people can be like, hey, when I start talking too much. Okay. I'll get a couple emails read out for you guys here. And then we'll go from there. Just before, sorry, promise it'll be quick. Just before I get into the emails, I made a couple of notes in here, and these notes just popped up. That's why I want to mention this. So you guys remember Emmett George? Emmett's had a lifetime of encounters with these people. A lifetime. 70 years old now. I talked to him. I talked to Emmett, and I could have spent all night on the phone with him, and he said the same thing. Man, we had a good conversation. And he's going to see if he can get some help from someone, maybe setting up a video call with me, or some kind of a, Zoom or Teams or FaceTime or something. He didn't know how to do it, but I kind of explained it to him. He goes, I'll see if I can get some help, and maybe we can do that, because I want to get him on here and have a chat with you guys. Emmett George, phenomenal man. Absolute lifetime of encounters with these people. In so many different ways. Horrifying, bone-chilling experiences to experiences where he was just like, oh yeah, I see you, you bugger. Like, he said to me, he saw one time, and he believes it was a juvenile, a younger one, because he goes, it was only about 5 feet tall, 5 or 6 feet tall, but thick, and he goes, it had the makings of a monster, but he goes, it was only about 5 feet tall, and it just had a younger look to it. Its hair wasn't all matted up and stuff, and anyways, he said it was playing peekaboo with him from behind a tree, and he goes, I'm not bullshitting you, he said. He goes, I could actually hear the son of a gun giggling at me the odd time. He goes, this thing would peek out from behind a tree, and Emmett was sitting there, and he goes, and Emmett goes, I would turn and look at him, and he'd go behind the tree, and then I'd turn away, and then I'd see him out of the corner of my eye, I'd see his head move out again, and I'd turn and look, and he'd go back, and he goes, we did this back and forth, played this game back and forth for like 5 or 10 minutes, and he goes, and the son of a gun, I could hear him giggling. And I'm like, you're kidding me. And he goes, no. He goes, it was the funniest. And he goes, I felt no fear, I felt no anxiety. He goes, it was like I was playing with one of my grandkids. And I just thought that was unbelievable. Like, he had me so captivated when he was telling me more than what he shared in his email. So anyhow, Emmett, if you're watching, buddy, I'm going to reach out to you again for sure. I'd like to have another, and I'd love to get you on here, bud. What an incredible man, and what a just numerous accounts of run-ins with these people, dating back to 50 years ago. So, anyways, Emmett, get a hold of you, bud. Wanted to share that with you guys because he's an incredible man. All right. Where are we at here? There we are. Oh man, I got another note in here, but I'm not going to get sidetracked again. I always get sidetracked, so I'm not going to get sidetracked again. I'll maybe share that note after. Next in line. Hi, Darren. Love your channel and your personality. I've been following Outlaw Country for a while now, and I do leave you the odd comment, but not always. Every time I do leave a comment, you respond to me personally. And I, for one, really think that's special. I live in Southwest Montana, and if I'm not working, I'm hunting. And when I am working, I'm actually still sometimes hunting. My work is out in the woods, so I am able to pack my rifle in my truck and always keep my eye out for game. LOL, I'm what they call an elk fanatic. If I can't hunt them, I film them and set up trail cams to watch them, etc. Could have swore I heard a gunshot. I've been fortunate enough to harvest an elk almost every year, but I do my homework and my research, so that contributes to my success. I had an experience 5 years ago that I promised myself I'd take to my grave, but after watching all of your videos, I've now decided screw it. I'm going to tell someone, and you're the one I trust. And you're the one I trust to honestly listen to my story. 5 years ago, I was out for my elk hunt, working an area that I'd placed several trail cams at, and watched the elk most of the summer and early September. I'd seen a great bull that was to be my target bull for the year. He was a big, heavy 7x7, and I was confident that I had his routine nailed down. It took me 4 days to locate this big bull, but I found him. And I planned my stalk for the next day. I put the bull to bed the night before, headed for camp. The next morning before daybreak, I was back where I'd put the bull to bed and sat there waiting for daylight. About 5 minutes into my morning, I heard a loud moaning sound way off in the distance towards where the bull was last night. It was definitely an odd, eerie sound. If you've ever heard cattle moaning softly in the distance, well, that's kind of what it sounded like, but definitely had a bit of a different sound to it. This moaning sound went on for a couple minutes, and then all was quiet again. A couple minutes go by, and I hear a soft bellow. Again, somewhat like a cow. Definitely not an elk, in my opinion. But there was something very strange about it. 20 minutes later, it's daylight. I start glassing looking for the bull. I spend a good hour, but he's nowhere. Now, elk can make very strange sounds. I know that, I've heard them. But the sound I heard that morning the sounds that I heard that morning were nothing like I'd ever heard before. So I assumed, and I still do, that it was not an elk. After 15 minutes of glassing, after 15 more minutes of glassing, I decided to slowly work my way towards where the bull had last been seen, hoping to spot him. Now, I understand what I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to believe, but I understand what I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to believe, but it is exactly as I saw it. As I get close to the area, I start doing some soft cow calls. Cow elk, that is. Hoping to get a response from the big guy, but nothing. As I get close to where the bull was, I catch a terrible smell that just about made me throw up. It was absolutely horrendous. I'm on high alert now, not knowing what it is that I'm smelling. So my senses are buzzing. I'm scouring the area hard when I catch a glimpse of an antler. I stop, I raise my binos to see most of an elk antler sticking up out of the grass. That's all I can see. I don't see the body of the animal or anything else. I lower my binos and think maybe it's a shed. So I slowly start walking that way. As I get close, I see the other antler and then the bull's head. So I stop, put my glass up again. What do I see? The antlers, the head, no body. I'm 30 feet away and I see the head down to the neck where there should be shoulders and a body, but there's no body. I'm standing there wondering what the hell got this bull, when I hear a long, soft moaning sound similar to earlier, and this time it's close to me. I'm feeling really uneasy at this point, but I slowly make my way to the elk head and see that it's the bull that I had been watching the night before, the 7x7. The head's there, the neck, down to the shoulders, everything else gone. Blood everywhere in every direction. I have to tell you, Darren, this looked like a murder scene. It looked like this bull was hit by a train. There's no sign of the rest of the animal. I did still smell this rancid stench, and my brain says grizzly. So I'm ready for a bear. I follow the blood trail about 50 feet through the trees, and there's the carcass, minus both rear quarters. I'm shocked at what I see. Can't make sense of it. The quarters were like the head. They were ripped off the body, not cut. I'm standing there staring at this murder scene with my finger on my safety, ready to shoot, and feeling like I should leave immediately. All of a sudden I hear a loud ringing in both my ears. My head feels like it's literally going to explode off my shoulders. I feel like something is right there watching me. I can feel my heart racing, and I'm holding my breath trying to listen. I turn to my right, and I see this monster standing between 30 yards from me. This creature was 9 to 10 feet tall. It had jet black knotted hair, and it was covered in blood. In its right hand is a rear quarter from the elk. It's holding it by the hoof, and the joint end of the quarter is still about a foot off the ground. I can't put into words what I felt at that moment, Darren. It was beyond fear, beyond panic. I'd never felt this way in my entire life. I started to hyperventilate, and my immediate reaction was to shoot this beast. My brain was saying, raise your gun and shoot, but I couldn't do it. My finger wouldn't move. My finger did eventually push the safety, and it made a click. As soon as it did, this creature lunged towards me and roared. I can't tell you how long I stood there staring at this thing and the sheer panic I felt, but it seemed like eternity. I could see his eyes go from me over to the elk carcass and then quickly back to me. In my mind, I was saying, please don't kill me. I have a wife, 2 kids. Please let me live. I clicked my rifle back onto safe, and as soon as I did that, this thing walked behind the tree and came out without the elk quarter in its hand. It walked back towards the carcass, grabbed a front hoof, put its foot on the rib cage, and tore off the front leg. It never took its eyes off of me the entire time. It was peering right into my eyes. As it walked back towards the 2 big trees, I was able to back up slowly, and he watched me. He dropped the quarter behind the tree and again moved back over to the carcass. As I continued to back away, same thing happened. He stood on the rib cage, ripped off the other front quarter, walked back to the 2 trees, and disappeared behind them. I turned and ran. I ran probably a couple 100 yards before walking and turned to see if he was behind me, but he wasn't. I walked as fast as I could, constantly looking over my shoulder. And when I caught my breath and was able to run again, I did. I ran all the way back to camp. And when I get there, I stood outside my tent and I started to cry like a little kid. I was a mess, man. I was a seasoned veteran hunter with many years of experience in the remote wilderness by myself. And now I was standing in my camp crying and yelling, what the fuck just happened? What the fuck just happened? Needless to say, I packed up immediately and made my way back out to my truck, and I wasted no time getting out of there. I had nightmares and daymares. What some people may find hard to understand is that these beings are just a myth until you see one. Some stories make them sound friendly, and maybe they are. But as you know from your own personal experiences, they are terrifying, even when they're not intimidating. This creature didn't come at me super aggressively, but he did lunge towards me and roar. What was most terrifying to me was when I first saw it. That was the moment my brain said, they are real. From that moment to this day, there was no more wondering or just listening to stories that people may or may not have made up. The truth stared me down at 30 yards and shook me to the core. I've never been back to that spot and don't ever plan to return. I do still hunt as much as I always did, but I have to say that I'm not as comfortable in the wilderness as I once was. I've had this email typed up for over a month now, Darren, and I haven't been able to hit send until today. Hearing all these other people just like me come forward to share their own terrifying encounters has given me the courage to do the same. You're an awesome person, Darren. I know you, and I know I would hit it off if you and I were ever to meet. I'd give anything to sit around a campfire, share a cold beer, and have a talk with you about all you've seen in your years in the wilderness. Who knows, maybe someday we can make this happen. Until then, keep Outlaw Country alive and always be safe when you're out there. Thanks, Darren. Your friend, Brett Carter. Holy shit, Brett. You had me on the edge of my seat, man. That is absolutely phenomenal. Unbelievable that you were able to witness that you witnessed that and watched all that. Like, that is, I don't think I've ever heard anything like that. Holy shit, I don't even know where to start. That is wild. That is just wild. I mean, I've seen grizzly bears rip a quarter off of a moose, like tear it off. And a large adult grizzly where I hunt is, upwards of 800 pounds. Just imagine a man-type being having the power to do something like that. It just makes your mind spin. Dude, I can't believe that you actually still get out in the woods. I do the same, but I never saw anything like that. Crazy. Brad, I really appreciate it. Thanks for sending that in. You scared the living shit right out of me. And I got about a total of another 6 or 7 miles to go before I get back to my truck today. Thanks, buddy. I will reach out to you for sure. Next. Do we need more? Do we really want to hear more? Holy cow. Here we go. Hi, Darren. My name's Tracy Altman, and I live just north of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I've been to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Tracy? My encounter with these forest people is a little different than most, but it still scared me to death. I'm 34 years old, and I've been an extreme trail runner and mountain biker since my teens. A big part of why I chose to live where I do is because of the miles and miles of wilderness trails and easy access to them. I've hiked the entire Appalachian Trail and hiked, ran, and mountain biked much of it as well. Last year, I was on a run in the mountains 15 minutes north of town on a trail that I frequently go to. I almost always wear earbuds and play music while I'm running, or at least I used to. I was about 8 miles up the mountain trail from the parking lot, and I crested over a ridge that dropped into a deep holler with a creek at the bottom. The trail going down is quite steep and loose gravel, so I had slowed down a little bit, and all of a sudden my music stopped playing. I decided I'd deal with it once I hit the bottom. I'm watching the ground ahead of me to be careful of my footing when I see this huge hairy creature standing right on the trail about 40 feet in front of me. I stopped immediately and reached for my bear spray, but I couldn't get it out of its case. I was freaking out looking at this mysterious creature standing in front of me, and this person, I'll call it, looked just as surprised and confused as me. This being was probably around 6 feet tall, completely covered in a light brown, scraggly hair. And it was definitely a female, as I could see her breasts clearly. The face of this being did kind of have male features, like a pronounced forehead and cheeks, and very distinct jawbone. Her face did have some short hair on it, but by no means completely covered. She almost looked like a deer in the headlights of your car when you surprise them. She didn't know what to do or where to go. My heart was racing and I did try to scream, but it was like I was in a dream. You know when you try to yell but nothing comes out? That's what it was. I was still trying to free my bear spray when this being that looked very edgy let out a scream and then slowly turned and walked up the creek. She turned back several times and looked at me. And all of a sudden, this feeling came over me, and I had no more fear. I wasn't scared at all. I just stood there and I watched her walk away. My breathing went back to normal, and I truly didn't feel scared. She got about 50 or 60 feet up the creek and made a couple of strange popping sounds, and then literally vanished into a real small patch of brush about 4 or 5 feet around. As she walked into the patch of brush, there was a bit of a shimmer where she was, and then she was all of a sudden gone. I stood there for a few minutes, and then the panic and fear came back. Was I losing my mind? Was I dreaming? Was this thing real? And if it was, what the heck was it? I had never heard of Bigfoot before, so I was so confused as to what I'd seen. I'd run into bears many times on the trails, and one time I had a mama bear stand up on her back legs right in front of me because she had her baby behind her. This was not a bear. This was definitely some type of a person or cross between a human and some type of animal. The longer I stood there, the more scared I felt, and my anxiety started building. So I turned and headed back for my car. As soon as I got back to the car, I Googled large hairy beings in the Smokies and saw pictures similar to what I'd seen. Since that time, I've done a lot of surfing on the internet to learn about these people. And I've seen lots of pictures and video. Most of the pictures do share a resemblance to what I saw, but the female I saw looked much more human than any of the pictures or videos on the net. She was muscular, but not massive. Her face did not resemble an ape or a chimpanzee in any way. She looked a lot like a cave woman, but I'd say a little more human than animal. As hard as it was to believe, I know for a fact what I saw. I tried to convince myself that maybe it was a dream or my mind was playing tricks on me, but it wasn't. I wasn't able to go on the trails for a few weeks because I was afraid of running into another one. Even though I didn't really feel threatened or in danger, I just really didn't want to run into another one of these people. I finally broke down weeks later and told a good friend of mine what I'd seen. He's also a big-time mountain bike enthusiast and rides almost every day. I said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but here's what I saw. He told me he had heard stories a few times of the wild man living in the mountains. People have seen things very similar to what I'd seen. I was so thankful he believed me. Ken said to me that he and I both spent a ton of time on the trails, and we've never seen anything like this until this one time. And she didn't harm me, so I shouldn't let it change what I do. It took a little while longer, but I ended up going for a ride with Ken, and then slowly I was able to get back into my normal routine of running, hiking, and biking. I still haven't gone back to the same area where I saw this woman, and not sure if I ever will. I think about that day all the time, and can see this being as clear as day in my mind. I just want to say to those people that try to shame and discredit people who have had encounters with the Bigfoot people, you need to stop. If you don't believe they exist, that's fine. You're entitled to your beliefs. Like thousands of people around the world, I now know they exist. And I'm offended when I hear people say that it's all BS and stories. And where's the proof? The proof is in the thousands upon thousands of people who are eyewitnesses to their existence. Thanks for having such a great platform for people to share their experiences without being ridiculed and laughed at. I personally think that you're an incredible and inspiring person with a heart of gold. Bless you, Darren, and bless all the great people who are part of Outlaw Country. Tracy Altman. Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for the kind words. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate all the good, honest people here. Yeah, I've been to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I actually did a hike in the Smoky Mountains right around there. Wild. I've heard the odd encounter of females and juveniles, but it's not super common. So that does intrigue me big time. I find that super interesting. And you know for a fact you saw the breasts. That's wild. And you know, you said the deer in the headlights look like this thing didn't know what to do. So obviously you surprised it too. You know, and that's where I have a tough time, right? With the whole they're from another place, you know, thing, and that they can just sorry guys, had to change batteries out. It didn't get drained. That battery was only at about 60%, and I've been doing a bunch of filming. So anyhow, as I was saying, like if these beings have all these powers and stuff, and if they are from somewhere else and they have these incredible powers, how did that thing not see you coming or not know you were there or whatever? That's the whole mystery part of it for me, right? And I listen to all these things and I go, you know, yeah, I do believe they could be not from here, but I also believe they might be, and that they just have crazy senses and abilities and powers. And then I hear something like that, you know, like you come running over the ridge and this thing's going. And I've done that with wild animals before, deer, moose, elk, whatever. You sneak up on them, and they're like, holy shit, where do I go? And then they run off, right? And, you know, if they have these incredible senses and special powers, how did that thing not know? How did that female not know that you were coming or not know you were there? Or did you just surprise it? And why didn't it just disappear right there on the trail? You know, did they not have that ability? Is it a cloaking thing? Like, do they need to get into something where they can then cloak themselves? You know, and I know a lot of people have a difficult time believing this whole cloaking thing. I've talked to lots of people about that, friends of mine, about them cloaking or whatever, right? How many lizards and snakes and insects and whatnot in the world can cloak, right? They can actually turn their body to look just like their surroundings. There's dozens and dozens of animals and insects and whatnot and snakes and stuff that can do that. Reptiles and whatnot. I'm not an expert on that, okay? I just know I've seen it on TV and like National Geographic type shows where certain lizards or whatever can change the way they look and blend in with their surroundings. So if they can do it, why can't these people? But anyhow, Tracy, I really appreciate that, my friend. I'm going to reach out to you. I promise. I reach out to every single person that sends me an email. I will respond to your email. I didn't see a phone number in yours, Tracy, but I will respond to your email. And if you ever want to talk, you just respond back with your phone number, and I will call you when I have time. Got about another month of a busy time of the year for me, obviously right up until Christmas. And then things will be okay for a little while, and then all hell's going to break loose with the grandbaby, right? It's going to be really busy in end of February when the grandbaby shows up. So, but I'm not going to stop, you guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to stop doing this as long as there's emails to read, and there's no shortage of those. As long as there's emails to read, I'm going to keep reading them. And if you guys want to drop me an email, by all means, feel free. I said a while ago on one of my other videos, I don't want to get carried away on other topics. I've heard, okay, I'm just going to talk real briefly on this. I've heard people talking about the little people of the forest and aliens and UFOs and all that kind of stuff, and I just don't want to dive into any of that, okay? It's just not my thing. My thing is the forest and all the beings and animals and whatnot and critters in the forest. So I just don't want to dive into that. But you want to drop me an email, just to say hi or shoot the shit or whatever, feel free. So I could have swore I heard a couple of shots over there, but I don't know. I may be way off in the distance. I'm definitely not the only person in this whole country. Other people hunt, right? Other people, there's the odd person that's as crazy as me and likes to get out into the remote woods. So I'm sure I'm not alone in this whole area. But anyhow, I'm going to rock and roll. I'm going to get back, and I'm going to have a cold beer, and I'm going to have some dinner, and I'm going to kick my feet up and relax a little bit, and we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. I'll put on some serious miles again tomorrow. So anyhow, guys, take care, be safe, and be a good person. Please be a good person. A lot of shit going on in the world everywhere, and life's short. Live it. And you know what? I said it a little while ago. When you leave here, all you got's your name. That's all you got. When you leave this world, all you got's your name. You want people to remember you as a good person, and that's all up to you. I'm out of here. I am out of here. I'll bet you I'm only going to get another couple miles up, and then I'm going to have to, maybe another 3 miles, and I'm going to have to turn around and buck it out. Because it's going to be dark, and I don't want to be in here at dark. Take care, guys. See you on the next one. Pretty good game trail here.